The moon in any of its phases has a mystical allure, a force that humankind has been unable to define for all of our millions of years, though we all recognize it. We celebrate its essence through ritual and myth. Every culture has a goddess who embodies the moon. She has many names and a multitude of attributes, making her as elusive as the moon itself. And this goddess is most always the keeper of secret knowledge and deep emotional wisdom. Tonight, as the week of Halloween begins, we call on the light of the moon to guide us in a reading of Moon and Mystery. Welcome, fellow Mooncats. Welcome, viewers new and returning to the first in a series of 8 special readings taking us all the way up to Halloween night. Each reading is drawn from an element associated with the hallowed evening as we use tarot divination to reveal hidden aspects within ourselves and what surrounds us. There is a rich history of divination at this time of year, as it's well known to be an auspicious time for communication with spirit. And so we will lead this series by the guidance of the light of the moon in a reading of Moon and Mystery. Moonlight as a sensitive energy works very well with crystals. And so there are 3 crystals at the center of the table, all of them sensitive to moonlight, yet each with its own unique qualities. Tune into the unique qualities of each crystal to choose the area of yourself or your life that you would like to illuminate as we consult the goddess of the moon for wisdom in that particular aspect. For option 1, we have an amethyst point to stimulate the third eye in the crown chakra, empowering you to open psychic talents as it provides powerful spiritual protection. For option 2, we have an angel aura quartz cluster. This is a powerful divine crystal, bringing in massive amounts of high vibrational frequencies, allowing you to receive communication from spirit guides as it brings wisdom to your heart's desires. And for option 3, we have a Selenite Tetrahedron. The shape provides balance and stability while venturing forward into the unknown. Meanwhile, Selenite provides a deep calm and focus. Combined, this crystal gives courage to try new adventures. Altogether, we prepare to illuminate ourselves through the guidance and wisdom of the goddess of the moon as we raise our vibration for the magical week ahead. I'll give you a moment now to make your choice, knowing that it is okay to choose more than one. It's even okay to choose all 3 if that is what resonates with you. For those of you who chose the amethyst point, or option number 1, this is your reading. As I mentioned before, the amethyst point is a powerful crystal for psychic development. So this is an opportunity to explore your psychic gifts or powers. and also areas in your life where you need psychic protection, as this is also a very powerful crystal for protection. And as we look to the wisdom of the goddess of the moon, I'm going to start with the Oracle of Seshet. And this hails back to ancient Egypt. And one of my reasons for using this deck is, of course, the very powerful associations between Egypt and the world of the dead, and the celestial associations of the gods and goddesses of the culture. The time that we're talking about, this time leading up to Halloween, is of course leading up to that day or that night where the veil is thin. And what this means is that it's more sensitive to contact or communicate with spiritual or more subtle energies that are harder to communicate with or sense or feel during other times of the year. And that is exactly why divination is part of Halloween celebrations going back throughout its history. So when we connect to that thinning veil, when we connect to the other side, we're connecting to and remembering our loved ones who have passed as well. And of course, protecting ourselves against any forces that would be negative. And so it seems appropriate to turn to the wisdom and keeper of records, Seshet, to see what particular skills or abilities you might be unveiling or beginning to tap into. And so the first card we have here is Hero. And I want you to have a good look at that glyph. All right. And we'll put that there. Okay, so let's talk about the meaning of this card a little bit. This is a very powerful calling to receive at this time, as Heru is another name for Horus, better known as Horus. And that is the symbol of Horus there on the glyph. So from this word Heru comes our word hero. And this is the original protagonist on the hero's journey. It is this journey that you are being called to take. It is not an easy road to take, because on the hero's journey, one must overcome obstacles. One must overcome antagonism. One must overcome challenges and difficulties. And these are challenges which give you your strength, but only because they reach you on such a deep level. And so what you're being called to do is overcome weaknesses, overcome areas of your psyche or yourself that need further development, to refine yourself into that archaic hero. So in your life, the hero becomes an example for others, a leader for others, because they have so succeeded in such an impressive way. They have succeeded in such an astounding way that they rise above the rest. Now there is the idea of Horus in the hawk form, taking hawk form and rising up above So there we have that symbolism of rising above. In this case, though, we're talking about this as a metaphor, as being lifted. The wind beneath the wings is that spiritual force that lifts you up to a greater or higher perspective, which is what you will attain as you work with spirit. The way to overcome the challenges that you will face and the difficulties that you are facing, remember that they are refining you. They're turning you into that example for others, that hero who rises above. Again, as I said, this is not an easy calling. Remember that heroes are warriors. Heroes go to battle. Heroes must develop their skills in the battlefield. And this is, again, metaphorical, but that your challenges are going to be great, and yet they're going to lead you into greatness. So if there are powers hiding in your psyche, just like that hawk rising above to get the greater view, you can ask spirit to uplift you, to help you get that greater vision, to uncover your the gifts that are buried in your psyche. And you do have the gifts and talents which enable you to take this challenging path. So in the story of Horus, he is a visionary that leads the people. And it's important for you to have this clear vision, because you are meant to lead change. You are meant to have a part in that, in leading the change that needs to happen here on this plane at this time. Considering the theme of our reading and considering the questions that we're approaching and the meaning of the crystal, it's all very interesting that it comes together into this card, because the two eyes of Horus, the right eye is the sun and his left eye is the moon. So the right eye brings clear vision, and as the left eye connects into intuition and clairvoyance. And so it is very important for you to develop the skill of being guided by your intuition and by your clear ability to see the truth. This clairvoyance is going to be a part of your skill and ability, a part of what's in your arsenal to help you as you take this challenging path. You are challenged to be a leader. You're no wallflower, no hiding behind the shadows. You need to stand up and lead. There's the story of Horus beginning in of course as an infant in weakness, and here, or vulnerability, and here is your similar challenge to overcome your doubts, to overcome that which weakens you. So the doubtful mind, the egoic mind that tells you you can't, or you're not special enough, or you're not good enough, that's all ego. But it's time now to begin your soul's journey, and your soul's journey is that hero's path that you're going to be on, that you're going to take. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses. So when I talk about weaknesses, please don't think that I am saying that you are a weak person, but only that we all do have strengths and weaknesses, and that part of your path is using your faith and your spiritual connection to overcome what those weaknesses may be. Horus is a powerful example of how we can transcend and rebuild. Because even though we all suffer in different ways. And so finding your way through that suffering, finding your way beyond those challenges is going to require your unique intuition. This indicates being born under a lucky star. And it may not feel lucky, but you'll see the situation more clearly from that higher point of view. That's when you can use that hawk eye to see the opportunities that are there, those small hidden things, like little treasures that you can spy from high up above, that are around you but maybe not so easy to see. There are going to be mistakes, as everybody does experience those, and learning to be adaptive to mistakes without holding them against yourself is part of this hero's path. This card is telling you that your transformation into the hero is imminent. This is now. This is happening now. This is for you right now. You are rising up at this time into your power, into your leadership role, the form of the leader that you will be. Horus is a spiritual initiate who became a spiritual master by overcoming trials and learning. We hear the same spiritual advice over and over again sometimes, and then it's flat and meaningless. But through the experience of overcoming things like temptation that leads you into darkness, maybe even by giving in and experiencing that. I'm not saying to do that, but sometimes that's how we learn. And that's why earlier I was talking about mistakes. Sometimes that's how we learn the spiritual lesson. And sometimes that is exactly what you are meant to do in order to perceive the lesson. So if you have learned from past mistakes, then you have done exactly what is required of you. It's not to never make a mistake, but to experience that and then come to the understanding of why it's not a good choice. So this is meant to bring you to a place of power. Not that this should be sought after in a greedy or materialistic way, but you will be empowered simply by going through what you have gone through, by being refined in this way, and by what you have learned and what you can share with others. And that is going to be very powerful for you. Okay, so here we have that core essence of your journey or your path ahead. This is as we ask for the wisdom, as we peer, as we scry into that foggy future. This is what we're seeing. This is what has come out of it. And so now what I want to do is turn to the tarot and see if we can get a little more information out and about. We have Ace of Pentacles. That's a very fortunate card of opportunity. And we were just talking about being up in the sky as that hawk and being able to spy the little treasures on the ground that might have been hard to see from the ground level. And so the message here is that there are opportunities surrounding you to take. So don't back down from a challenge, because herein lies the way forward, the way that you experience the growth. You can't be the hero without being challenged. So right now what we have are these wonderful possibilities surrounding you. Oh my goodness. You also have the Ace of Cups. So this is another gift, another spiritual gift of having that emotional fulfillment, that joy of life, because you have found your fulfillment. Okay, and these things, unsurprising. I'm not surprised to see the Hanged Man here, because we were just talking about transforming into the hero. You're probably going to have Hanged Man moments at several different points in your life. I can't believe. Okay, we have another ace. We have the Ace of Staffs. You, on the center, are being surrounded by aces. Let's see if another one comes out. We only have one left. My goodness. My goodness, my goodness. Surrounded by all the elements. Aces in all the elements. Well, let's see. The other one hasn't come out yet. We've got Pentacles, Cups, and Wands. Can we get the Ace of Swords as well? Well, no, we do have a King of Swords, though. And this is where assistance comes in. This is where you have help from a wise leader. And all the rest of this is divine, but this is earthly. Yes, that's the air element, but this is someone on earth who has that great power of wisdom. The sword rings true, right? It's like the sword of truth. Okay, we have the Hierophant. That might be where we're going to stop here. Okay. Nine of Swords, Ten of Pentacles. So let's talk about this energy. All right, so I'm going to take a moment to adjust the camera because I want you to be able to see these cards clearly. So bear with me just a moment. Okay, I think that's a little better. I think it's important for you to be able to see the whole picture, and that's why I wanted to readjust the camera there. Okay, so we're looking at this two cards in the center, looking at these two cards in the center as the core. And that core is underneath your answer from the goddess for the Horus card. And this is where you're going through transformation. But this is not like the Tower. This is a different kind of transformation. This is where it's going to require a lot of internal reflection and thought and development. So this is where you're being challenged, and what is going to support or bolster you in this is the Hierophant. So we're talking about an organization or community that supports your efforts. So if you are whatever your particular gift or talent is, or whatever change it is that you're trying to see in the world, what's going to help or empower you is to find an organization or a group of people, a community that you can connect to that is going to empower you and support you in your endeavors to do this. And it is by connecting and communing and talking with other like-minded people that you begin to go through this internal transformation and change. Okay, now part of what we see here, what's surrounding you, what's around you is very beautiful. You have these 3 very powerful gifts from the divine surrounding you to support you on your journey. And this is amazing because we're looking at Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, Ace of Staffs. So not only are you going to be able to make and create what you will into the world, but also this is going to be a very satisfying, fulfilling emotionally, and it's going to create that beautiful sense of creative growth within. And then also Ace of Pentacles means that financially you're set and your earthly concerns are also cared for. This is like that golden opportunity card. And I see that interestingly, when we see aces are coming from the divine, through divine connection. Do you have the guidance to have all this expression and fulfillment and material success in this world? It is coming through your connection, and here we have that stressed again with this card, your connection to spirit, to your spiritual side, to your spiritual guidance, and your intuition is going to be very important to guide you through this. But also over here, I see someone you may already know, or someone you're going to meet who has that clairvoyant vision we were speaking about, the ability to see the truth clearly, and that this person is also going to support you in receiving all of these gifts and being able to manifest these beautiful gifts that are these beautiful opportunities surrounding you. Part of what's challenging that you have to overcome is the pain of your past. There have been, whatever we go through, traumatic situations that leave us grieving. And I'm just going to pull this card up as we talk about it. Trauma has effects. It leaves a mark, and it can transform and change you. And if you are not working on it, if you are not healing that pain, then it can lead you into darkness and lead you into those mistakes that we were talking about before. And if that should happen, don't wallow in that. It is all right to make mistakes, as long as what we do is use them as an opportunity to then pull these cards together. Use them as an opportunity to then have that revelation for transformation and change. And so there may be some hiccups from your past, marks, ways that your pain has marred you, ways that it has left a mark on you, and that what the effects of these painful experiences were or are, it needs to be overcome. It needs to be healed. And that's going to be possible through that personal reflection and intuitive guidance. And it's going to be very helpful to have the connections to others as you're going through that healing process. So the Hierophant is also a person who is, I don't like to use the word authority, because we never want to give our power away. You're your own authority. You are you are your own guide. But then we do have sometimes people who are further down the path than we are that can help. Here he holds the keys. That can help along that path. Now, it's been a hard road already. Even before you're receiving this calling, you've been through the traumatic experiences, or you wouldn't have this card to overcome. But you're to know that this is not in vain, because we have here the Ten of Pentacles, and this is a richness. It's an earthly richness, yes, but it's also a spiritual and energetic richness. And it's this sort of abundance and wealth that you're heading towards. True wealth involves an holistic abundance. Forgive me as I try to get these thoughts out. It's not coming out. So, if you make millions and millions of dollars doing work that makes you miserable, and every second of your existence is miserable, this is not true wealth. True wealth is to be able to create from within, from alignment with your true self, from alignment with your true soul's purpose, and to have abundance in that way. And then to be a person who is so fulfilled and who is so content with life, but not in a way that you stop being challenged. The call to be the hero is to develop into a leader. There is no more shrinking back. There is no more hiding. It's time. It's time to emerge as the hero. Okay, we're going to look for some guidance, further guidance from the goddess now. I'm turning to the Queen of the Moon Oracle. And just see, as you take on these challenges and look for these opportunities, and as you're healing and transforming, is there some words of wisdom? Are there some words of wisdom that can guide you on the way? This is the card of pleasure. I do feel that we have one more, so I am just going to keep going till we get it. And fruition. It's an interesting thing how spirit works sometimes. And so we get this pleasure card, and though this is a very serious calling, and sometimes the way that you find what you're looking for is actually through lightheartedness. and joy and pleasure. So if you're going about it too intensely, it actually doesn't work as well as it does to just take what time you can, knowing that we all have busy and challenging lives, but finding the time where you can in something that you do. Not just a diversion, but something that really brings you joy. And the reason to get into that is to experience and practice letting go. Because it's when we get into these joyous activities, we free ourselves. So for this moment of joy, the stress is set aside. For this moment of joy, the worries are laid down. And for this moment of joy, you find when you get lost in something like that, any of your personal insecurities or thoughts of self-worth, they disappear. You find yourself not concerned with those things, and instead giving into just enjoying the moment. And when you can experience that, you do discover too what your best talents and abilities are. And the most key thing for guidance in life at any point is your own personal connection to spirit. More than anyone else, any advice anyone else can ever give you or any reading can ever tell you is your own intuition, your own intuitive guidance. And so it is so very important to have the ability to form that connection. And what you will find is that insight and inspiration come to you in these joyous times, in these joyous moments, because when you let go of what is weighing you down, your energy lifts up into higher frequencies, and now are you able to receive communication and receive inspiration from the divine. And so play is actually a very important thing to do. So here we were looking within and without, what is inside and what is surrounding you, and what is coming forth. And it looks that you're going to be facing challenges, but who doesn't? So I wouldn't look at that as a burden at all. If it's feeling like a burden, then that's how you know that you need to do some retrospection and some changing of perception. But perhaps the best way to arrive there is through play. And then, as with the fruition card, the possibilities are endless. The fruits of your labors are bounteous. All right, now that concludes the reading for pile number 1. If more than one pile called to you, you are welcome to stay and hear those readings as well. This has been the first in the series of the Halloween Read-A-Thon for 2023. I did a Read-A-Thon last year, and many of the titles may seem the same, but the readings are going to be a little bit different as I do try to vary them up a little. Thank you so much for watching this reading. If you're interested in hearing more of the Halloween Read-A-Thon readings, then please tune in and subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and take a look there and see. The link is below in the description. And I am also announcing free personal readings. I am not charging for them. I am offering a free reading, one per month in the month of November and the month of December until the end of the year. The reason for that is don't know what to expect from the viewers, and so I don't know how much interest there may be. Wouldn't want to get too overwhelmed with readings that I wouldn't be able to deliver them on time or in a timely manner. Then the other reason for it is because honestly, reading should be paced at about probably once a month, because otherwise you're just going to be hearing the same message repeat, because the circumstances haven't really changed yet. Okay, so if you're interested in signing up for a free reading, you can do that on my Calendly page, and that link is also in the description below. Most of all, I'm just glad that you came by. Thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, take a moment to hit that like button, and I hope to see you in the further readings to come. For those of you who chose the Angel Aura Quartz, or selection number 2, this is your reading. And we are diving into the mysteries as we do this moon reading. And so it seems appropriate to turn to the wisdom of ancient Egypt. And I'm using the Oracle of Seshet to connect us to that. Now, Seshet was the keeper of records. And how appropriate, as this Angel Aura Quartz is a very powerful stone, a very powerful crystal that brings in an abundance of high frequency energy. So you can receive the revelation of your true heart's path or purpose. And so we're going to look for that illumination here as consulting the Akashic Records. And that card came out very quickly, and what has come out is the card of Hotep. I hope you can see that. Maybe it might even be better. Like, there we go. Oddly enough, that actually looks clearer this way. Maybe if I can bring a little more light. There we go. Because I want that focus on that very interesting glyph for this card of Hotep. And just give you a moment to observe that, take that in. How does it feel to you? Well, what comes to mind as you're looking at this? Okay, and then I'll set that down here so we can discuss the meaning of the card. So what you're being guided to do here is to trust in the divine. So the word Hotep has a meaning of peace. And it's a peace that isn't logical. It surpasses understanding. It's the peace that comes with knowing and fully trusting that the divine will be there to care for you and to provide for you what you need. This is overcoming worry, the tendency to worry. So this is a challenge right away for you to overcome that. If that is something that is, if that is something that you're experiencing and dealing with, if that's abundant in your life, then worry needs to be overcome. And so this is also about making peace. This is about forgiveness in the face of adversity. This is about being community, being able to share together. Bread is highly symbolic here. Breaking bread is highly symbolic here. It's the idea of sharing with a loving spirit our abundance, sharing in order to share the comfort and the joy and the peace. And so there's a challenge here and a pathway here of work, or what work you do is going to be something involving community and creating goodwill. Hearing the word Hotep may remind you of, if you have any familiarity with ancient Egypt, then it may remind you of Imhotep. And he was one of Egypt's most famous architects and scribes. This name means I come in peace. So Imhotep himself was an instrument of peace. And that is the calling here as well, of being that person who is nurturing, loving, accepting of others, and that bringer of peace. So at this point, I'm going to turn to the tarot cards and see if we can get some more information about what is surrounding you, within and without. We're going to put that light back on. There we go. So this card is a reminder of what we just discussed. Well, the first card to come out is the Nine of Pentacles. Now, the Nine of Pentacles is being very secure in your own, on your own, being very secure on your own, and in your material needs. So your material needs are met. This is a promise from the divine that what you need will be there for you. And it's also this peacock in the center. I keep being drawn to it as I'm thinking about this message of peace. And it's like allowing yourself to lay aside the worry or the stress enough to be able to experience the beauty of life. And if you want something to worry about, you'll find it. And that can just suck all the joy right out of existence. So take that time to allow the joy and to experience that side, the beauty of life. Okay, so just one more thing that I'm seeing here is a symbol of Hathor. You see this symbol the bird is resting on. This beautiful peacock, is resting on the symbol of Hathor. Now, Hathor is another of the goddesses in Egyptian culture who represents exactly this, the beautiful, softer, more sensual side of life, which is to say, I'm not saying erotic, but I am saying where you're feeling yourself to be very fulfilled, very much in a place of being pleased. being happy with life, and being able to share that energy and joy with others. Okay, so there's two things in this card that I see. The first one to come out, and one is it's challenging you. It's challenging you to have faith in this. Have faith in this outcome, that what you need is there to and will be provided for you. So this is why I sensed a challenge in that Nine of Pentacles card, because you are going to experience some endings to clear the way for your abundance, for that pathway to abundance. And in the moment of the endings, it may not feel like you're heading somewhere abundant, but that you must have the faith. You must have the faith that that is where you're going. We have the Page of Cups. And we have the Ace of Pentacles. King of Staffs. All right, so I am going to adjust the camera a bit and try to give you a full view of the cards. Okay, so I think it's important for you to get the full picture, and that's why I do take a moment to readjust the camera. If we're not seeing all the cards, I want you to be able to see them all and get that all together if you can. Okay. So down here is what's at your core, what's at your center, and like the spine of you. Okay. Everything centers around this. And so we have this Hotep energy. You're like a goodwill ambassador. You are someone who your purpose is to be in this beautiful energetic state that then influences others to join you there and also be in that beautiful energetic state. So you are meant to influence. You are meant to influence in a positive way. Now with the Page of Cups, this means you're ready to start some new ventures. And this is going to mean following your heart, being the Page of Cups. It's interesting to me that what lies beneath that card is then the Queen of Cups. And so we can see that cups are your central power. Your power comes from your love. It comes from your place of accepting, understanding, being empathic, sharing with others, caring for others, nurturing others. This is where your strength comes from. This is what is at your core. You are meant, this reminds me of the poem, She Walks in Beauty. This is as you are meant to do. You are meant to walk through the world within this energy so that you can then encourage others as to join you there. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself. Yeah, that's the idea here. Now, there's some challenges along the way. As we spoke of the Nine of Pentacles, one of your challenges is to trust that the divine will provide for you, that you will have what you need materialistically in this world, that it will be provided. And there is a need to hold on to that divine faith as you're going to go through some challenging endings. And a personal transformation that takes you into this place of feeling intense love and appreciation and joy for life. If you're not there already, then you're going to be experiencing a profound transformation that takes you there. And this may mean that there's going to be some things that end permanently in your life. And so this could be relationships that end, friendships that end. It could even just be your own way of relating to, let's say, certain thoughts, patterns of behavior, things like that need to end and change so that you can be in this beauteous state. And then what's surrounding you is this transformation leading into that cup power. And also the Ace of Pentacles. So somewhere in this energy field, somewhere on being in this state, do you come across this ace, this idea, this thing, this opportunity that is a gift from the divine because it brings in all of your abundance. And you have a helper here off to the side. And I think it's perfectly suited that your helper is the king. Is a very charismatic individual, very warm, very warm-hearted, and charismatic. But being the King of Staffs is also someone who understands how to make things happen in the world, how to bring things from dream into reality. And so we see here this lizard symbol on the card is because the King of Staffs is very good and almost willfully relies upon intuition as a guide. So this is a very successful, established, and charismatic individual who is going to kind of show you some of the way to do these things, to be in this sort of joyous energy, to be in this place of warmth, to be in this trusting place where you can lay your worries and stress down and just have faith in the divine to provide. And so your challenge card here, a challenge card for you is the Four of Pentacles. And my attention is being drawn to the Four of Pentacles underneath the Death card. And so this is part of the association that needs to change, is this feeling like you've got to count every penny and hold on to it all very tightly, or I'm not suggesting reckless financial behavior. Let me be clear about that. But this is more of an energetic association, a way of thinking about finances and money and material wealth. With the Four of Pentacles, this is someone who has what they need, but they're just holding on to it so tightly because they're so afraid that somebody's going to take one of them, or somebody's going to take. So rather than being in a state of generosity and sharing, which would be like that Six of Pentacles card, this is someone who's very stingy and holding on out of fear to what they have, even though they have enough. And transforming this brings you into your cup energy. And that Queen of Cups is so much better off than the person in the Four of Pentacles card, because that Queen of Cups is flourishing. So you can see the slight difference here between them. Okay, and I'm just going to hold these two cards up to the camera so that you can see what I mean. There's so much more confidence in the Queen of Cups. There's so much more peace in the Queen of Cups. And that is the essential core self that you're developing into. And now the Ace of Swords is your outcome, and that is living your truth. Living your truth is right there in that card. So looking a little more at the circumstances surrounding you now, I'm going to pull out these Moonology cards and see if we have something here for you. Okay. Just as we have been talking about, it's almost uncanny that this is the card that came out, but the advice here is to bring love into the situation. It's saying new moon in Aquarius. So I'm going to put that here. Bring love into the situation. Yes, as the Queen of Cups, as cup power comes from love. And let's not forget that love is a very powerful force. We do tend to overlook it. The force and the nature of love we tend to overlook. And this says, take time to breathe out. So there's some advice surrounding you there, which is saying that, it's time to lay the worries down, to lay the stress down, to have that faith in the divine, and to carry forward into your new adventures with great confidence. And then what comes from that is your ability to live your truth. If you don't know this charismatic individual already, then know that they are on their way to you and will cross your path in time, at the right time. Okay. And we're going to look for any further guidance from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. Let's go ahead and take a look at those there. It's interesting, because it's the crystal is about helping you align with your heart's path, and your heart is your path. It is your way forward. And you're cautioned here to use discernment. Okay, so with the card, I'm going to pick that back up. With the card of discernment, we're talking about choices, judgment, using your judgment wisely. We see this nebula in front of her eyes, and that is to indicate, that there may be something here that is difficult to see. But remember, look at this in the center. Where does her power come from? It's coming from the heart chakra. Remember your compassion and your empathy. There's a quote that goes with this card, and it says, I take my time to be accurate and precise in my discernment. Okay. There's a phrase coming to mind with this card, and the phrase coming to mind is to stop and smell the roses. The caution here is not be rash in judgment, but to take your time. Take your time to perceive and know the truth. Really looking things over before a final decision is made. And so the final caution here is just take your time with your decisions, take your time with your judgments and your choices, and make sure that they are in alignment with what you perceive as truth. And this is one of your gifts too, is the ability to know the truth, to perceive the truth. So it's like a psychic knowing. All right, and this concludes the reading for those who chose the Angel Aura Quartz or option number 2. And if you're still with me, then thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate all my viewers. And if you're interested in more of the Halloween Read-A-Thon, be sure to tune into my channel. And there's a link in the box below. And I'm also announcing free readings, which are going to be available for the months of November and December up until the end of the year. Most of all, I'm just so glad you came by today. Thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next Halloween Read-A-Thon video. For those of you who chose the Selenite Tetrahedron, this is your reading. And just as a reminder of the qualities of this particular crystal, the shape is as important as the material. So the shape here is a tetrahedron, which provides balance, but as we have that extending point, the balance is also there to give you a base to venture forth into the unknown. And then the material of the selenite provides a very deep calm and focus. And so there is an indication in the combination of the two of a very powerful internal strength that you'll be tapping into as you begin your new adventures in the coming year. And so let's commence with the reading. The reading begins with the Oracle of Seshet. And this is a hail back to ancient Egypt, which feels appropriate at this time of year for a couple of reasons. And one is the strong associations with celestial objects and orbs. So the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt are all tied to the moon or the sun. And there was such an awareness in the culture of the afterlife. The afterlife played such an important part, and that's, after all, what we are connecting to at this time of year is that other realm, the other side of the veil. Okay, and so let's dive in with this oracle, and what this oracle is going to do is point to your strengths, talents, and gifts, that base of the tetrahedron, that when you calm and focus, what is it you'll be turning into? What strength will you be relying upon as you venture forth. The shape and the material, the combination of these two, this particular crystal, it makes me think of astral travel as we focus in order to project. Okay. And the card that you've received from this oracle is Ben Ben. I'm going to hold this up to the camera for a moment so that you can get a nice clear shot of the hieroglyph. And I would have you concentrate on that for a moment. Take a close look at that hieroglyph. See if that's evoking anything for you, your feelings, your thoughts. Just take a moment to take it in. What does that hieroglyph seem to be calling forth from you or communicating to you? To have this card with this crystal, it's actually almost completely overwhelming to see that come out. Well, Ben Ben, in its meaning, is like as if to say very good, or good, or best, the best of the best, an expression of something being great to an exponential amount. Okay, and then looking at the pictures in the glyph, and I hope you had a good chance to take them in, because here we see a callback to the tetrahedron shapes, the pyramids and the river Nile. And so we know that the pyramids are associated with sun, and were particularly important to remember the return of the sun. So the capstones at the tops of the pyramids were gilded, and they would capture the light of the setting and the dawning sun. And that is how they were physical remembrances of that, the very important mythology of Egypt, centering on the return of the sun every day. And so, digging a little bit deeper, there was a cult of the phoenix in ancient Egypt, and the phoenix was known as the Bennu bird. And so we're looking at this sun, and those deities associated with the sun were filled with a creative force. The light of the sun was a very creative force. And then when we combine that with the image of the phoenix, what we're getting is recreation or reinvention. And so this unknown that you're venturing into is a recreation of yourself. So launching from the base of who you are, not anything you may have picked up, extra things like that will be shedded to get to your core self and to launch a reinvention of yourself from that core. So we think of that light as illuminating. So this is going to be a time of powerful revelation for you. We think of that light as creative, and so it's going to be illumination and reinvention. And so some guidance from this oracle is to accept your divine light. Reconnect with your divine spark. Because that spark is the fire to ignite the phoenix that resides within you. And though you know this fundamentally, you know this in your heart of hearts, it is possible to simply become disconnected from that knowledge, or to forget a little bit as we go through life. And this is where that calm and focus comes in, because that divine light is just one focused breath away. And you can, just like breathing on an ember, reignite that spark. One of the bits of advice from this oracle are, as above, so below, as within, so without. This is a remembrance that your body is a temple, and part of being able to feel this divine light, to be able to connect to that divine frequency, is treating the body this way with respect and love, and giving the body what it needs for nourishment. A remembrance, too, that the foundation of a pyramid resides on solid earth. And so that there is that solid foundation that means that need for grounding. Connecting to the earth is a way to ground. And let's not forget that pyramids were also places of magic. And so there is, in all of this magical light of creation, this magical spark that's going to really launch you forward quickly. And this is why that foundation, that strong foundation, is needed. This is an extremely powerful time for you. This is an extremely magical time for you, where you may even be surprised at the power that you find within as you venture forward into your recreation of yourself. And to dig a little more into that, I'm going to pull out the Tarot of a Moon Garden and see if we can illuminate this information just a little bit more. Four of Staffs. Building your foundation, strengthening your foundation. This is the need to find your internal strength. So practicing meditation would be important at this time. And then we have Two of Cups. Creating from a balanced space. The Four of Cups is what surrounds you right now, as does Temperance. And we have a Helper in Justice. Okay, as we go into the interpretation, I'm going to try to rearrange the camera and give you a better view of the cards. It's going to be a bit of a challenge here because we've got more cards than have been in the other layouts, and we'll get into that in a bit. But what's interesting to me is that the extra cards have created a pyramid shape. All right, it's not going to be easy to get all of these on camera, but maybe I can get a little more space here. That is not a lot of more space, but it's a little bit. Might just be enough. Okay. I really want to focus on the center, so let's bring this in just a bit, and then I think this may be the best we got. Okay. I really want to focus on the center of the reading here. The center is that core. So as we talk about tuning within, this is the core that you're going to be working with. Now, okay, at the top of this core is the Four of Cups card. I'm going to bring that near to the camera. In the Four of Cups, there is dissatisfaction, a kind of ennui, a boredom with life, a boredom with the place that you're at in life. This is where transformation begins, in the dissatisfaction. But in the Four of Cups too, there is a reminder that as you're feeling stuck in the weeds, you're also surrounded by these cups of opportunity, these golden cups. And if you can open your eyes and change your perspective a little bit. All right, and we're back. So one thing I really like about this depiction in the Four of Cups card is she's so clearly in a meditative state. And when we need to get out of the weeds of life, meditation is a good tool to use, and it may help you to recognize what opportunities are surrounding you that you're not currently seeing. Now, notice that you have more cards, and it seems that you have more challenges than there have been in the other readings. And so here at the center of your core is this struggle for balance, which we see in the Two of Pentacles. And so this is something for you to focus intensely on and work on, finding areas in your life that may need more balance. And as we were particularly looking at the body as a temple, then that may be an area of focus for you to work on your physical health as well as your spiritual health. And so we see this person juggling and finding balance in these two areas. And then the ultimate expression of your core is here in the major arcana of the Hermit card. And this is that archetype of the wise old man. Now, the story of the hermit is that he has receded into his cave, his place of contemplation and study. He's hit the books and spent a lot of time in his personal development, and he emerges from the cave then transformed and with a new spark of light leading the way towards his new path. And so this is what you're being called to do, to transform through illumination, through that revelation, through that reconnection here to the divine spark. The light in the lantern of the hermit is the star from the star card. And again, that's a very healing light. So there is some internal healing also taking place here. And looking at your challenges at this level, what's surrounding you are the Three of Swords and the Seven of Swords. And so there is in your past a terrible heartache, a terrible betrayal, pain, and sorrow from the past. And this is what must be healed and overcome. There is no one who walks through life and doesn't get hurt. It's important then that when we do experience betrayals and heartache and hurt from others, that we don't use that to judge ourselves. There is no one who goes through life that doesn't experience that at some level. And so it is not about who you are, but who they are who have betrayed you. And the work there is to release those people who have done you harm. Let them go. Let them be. And to focus instead on your own internal balance, external balance, and finding the way forward in your life. There is a warning here of getting trapped inside illusions and wishful kind of thinking or trickery. So we see the Seven of Swords as a card of the trickster. And though this usually is applied to a person, I'm seeing such a heavy emphasis on swords, and I'm seeing so much, I'm sensing so much that this is to do with the transformation. And of course, that's reinforced here in these nighttime moths. Moths instead of butterflies here. So it does feel right and true to me that in this reading, the Seven of Swords is talking about the trickery within your own mind. And sometimes our mind, our egoic mind, does trick us with hurtful words appearing as wisdom. And your balance between your own hurtful thoughts and the betrayal, the ways that others have hurt you, this all needs to be healed so that you can be returned to that best core self of who you are. And like I said, this is going to be a very powerful, magical time for you where you're reconnecting to your true power and your true self. Okay, so looking up at what's surrounding your core at this time, these are the challenges to your core and what's surrounding your core at this time. And then we have a helper over here. And so was surrounding you. We started with the Four of Staffs and the Two of Cups. Now, this tells me that, to me, there's a call here. There's a relationship here between the Two of Pentacles and the Two of Cups. So, a strong foundation in the Four of Staffs. This is that grounding element where you return to your core, you strengthen your core. And then that Two of Cups is in the state of balance. Here's the struggle for balance. Here is being in the state of balance, and being in that state of balance. Beautiful creation coming forth. Beautiful, divinely inspired creation coming forth. And also surrounding you is temperance. This is the major part of the transformation you're going through now, which is a tremendous healing power. And remember that the temperance card also indicates divine influence, or the presence of angels to help you to heal. And we see that most powerful, pure magic of the unicorn. So when we see a river is indicative of the deep interconnected psyche, that which we are tuning into in our most subtle energy. And we see the unicorn touching her pure horn to the water. That's purifying the thoughts, purifying that subtle energy that surrounds your body, purifying your energetic field and what you're connecting to energetically. And so there may have been these dark thoughts of the past that connected you to dark people who caused you harm. Well, we're going to heal that energy now. So look how the Seven of Swords card falls underneath temperance. We're healing that dark thought energy now and bringing it into a more positive and beautiful place of healing thoughts. Thoughts that are more correct, more in tune. And look at how you flourish under that influence, because look at the beautiful flourishing land. Look at the balancing of the rainbow. And the rainbow is always a promise of being treated with love instead of destruction and rejection, right? Okay. And now we have a helper card in Justice, which is your realignment with truth and being able to see things correctly. So this is why Justice holds the scales and the sword. Remember, swords in tarot represent your mental state. And with Justice, we're seeing true and clear. And with balance, we're able to understand the balance, the balance of truth, not tilting it by a false perspective, but seeing it as it truly is. And that is what we're striving for here with our Two of Pentacles in our core. In our core, we are striving for this sense of balance and the perception of pure truth. And in Justice, not only is that what you're able to perceive, but also that justice and balance are being brought back into your life. So if there has been an imbalance of negative experiences and negative people and difficult trials, now is the time where it balances out and we're receiving that good karma for what you have been through. And so justice is also a divine assistance in this process. Notice how the moon looks like a corona. Now in art, in historical art, the corona is there to represent divine connection. We see the same thing here in the setting sun of the Temperance card. So you have divine assistance in this process. Now, divine assistance means that you need that connection to that divine spark, that divine light. Remember that this is where you're heading. You yourself being able to carry that corona. So that's your personal connection to the divine. And you can connect to that information, receive and hear that information best by being in that calm, meditative, and grounded state. All right, we're going to look for some further advice from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. And let's see what comes forth here. Faith. An important time to hold on to faith. And we're going to get one more card from here. And we have the card of resilience. Faith and resilience. Okay, so let's return to that faith card for a moment. And what this card is saying is to fundamentally know that all will be well, to have a firm and complete faith in that. So when we are in a place of hurt and pain, we lose our creativity. We lose that sense of the spark of life. And what is being promised here is that all of that is returning to you, especially with the Justice card present, that we're bringing that spark back to you. Your fertility and abundance are returning to you now. And there has been a time of adversity, but you are meant to hold on to your dreams at this time. You're going through a time where the darkness is very present. And when we are in the darkness, it can be so hard to see the light sometimes, but you are called upon to find it. Here you are in the weeds of life, but there's opportunity here. There's lots of opportunity here. And you can use that and find that to tune into that in order to pull yourself out of the weeds. Just as we were talking about the symbolism of the sun returning at the beginning of this reading, and so too is your light returning to you. And this is a time when you're being called on to have faith in yourself and faith in the universe, that it is a fair place, and that what has been taken from you shall be returned. And you must, at this time, most of all, work on your faith in a higher power and connect to trusting in that higher power. And then the other bit of advice here is resilience, the resilience card. And I had a little discussion about this in another reading. Resilience means pressing on against adversity, yes, but there's more than that too. It's our internal drive to keep going even when we've made mistakes. And what we perceive as a flaw or a mistake actually is just a learning process. And so there is no need to hold your mistakes against yourself. It doesn't matter which wayward path you've taken. It doesn't matter if you got something wrong before. It's time. There's always and ever the opportunity to get it right. And what's most important is that we experience these wayward paths. We experience these being wrong-footed from time to time in order to learn and experience, so that we don't just say to ourselves, this is right or that is wrong, but we have a deep understanding of why and how, which we could not have without the experience. And that is why we are here. That is why we are incarnated, so that we can experience. The most important thing you can do if you're in that place of darkness, in the weeds of life, finding yourself going through suffering or difficulty, the best thing you can do at that time is work on your resilience. And that is the ability to almost defiantly hold on to that faith, knowing that you're going to find your way out of it. And I just had a pause there because I'm looking at this resilience card and how the weeds are being carried on this person's back. The time in the weeds is a time of lessons learned. And it's important to remember that. If we can take the higher perspective and understand that mistakes that are made are just part of a learning process. It's just information gathering. Look, we come into this life not knowing anything about it. We are given forgetfulness. We are made to forget. So we come into this life like a blank slate. And of course, there will be, from time to time, a query that goes wrong, that goes errant, or a thought process that leads us awry. But that's okay, because it's not your mistakes that define you, it's your resilience that defines you. It's your ability to rise up over that. Okay, so to recap, we started this reading with Ben. And Ben is the greatness that is in divine light and that is within you, that great divine creative spark, that remembrance of the light that returns, that symbolism of the phoenix who is reborn from the ashes. You have been through darkness that has dragged you down into the weeds, and this could be in your current state, emotional state, or thought process, or just in a place of life where you are experiencing external challenges. But we all get dragged into the weeds from time to time. It's important to be resilient at this time, to keep your faith in the divine and in divine justice, knowing that this is a time to work on your inner strength. This is a time to use meditation to your advantage and to find yourself reformed through extreme contemplation, through extreme study, through divine connection and faith, to emerge as the hermit does from his cave with that new spark of light to light the pathway ahead. We beware our mental pitfalls, we beware our emotional pitfalls, and use faith to overcome them, to heal, to have temperance, treating the body as a temple and refusing to poison ourselves. And as we make this reach for the divine, as we make this reach, then do we find our justice, our divine assistance coming in, our temperance angels coming in to help us, support us, and to lift us up onto this path where once again we can flourish and see the beautiful potential of our own creation and that which we can create. And that concludes this reading for the Selenite Tetrahedron. I hope you have enjoyed your reading, and if you have, please hit that like button at the bottom of the screen with the thumbs up. It just helps the message to spread and grow. And also consider subscribing, as this is only the first in a series of 8 special readings that are going to take us all the way up to Halloween night. You may wish to tune in for different themes and future readings. We're going to have a little bit of fun with our divination, as this time of year is a time to celebrate and have joy. Thank you for tuning in. I truly appreciate your viewership, and I hope to catch you again in another video.